There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Green Award of Fiction and Give him. Mr Ali Kaka, please place your hand on that screen where I have my face. There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Green Award of Fiction and This day, a round of applause please for NETFUND and the team. That is the logo that brings us the launch of the Green Awards. Applause please for NETFUND and the team. That is the logo that brings us the launch of the Green Awards. As you have yourself, will be going on until next year. This is just the beginning. You can sit now. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
By your presence this morning, as we want to launch the Green Award, it is indeed a tool of advancing environmental management and conservation. The intention is to recognize and reward exemplary initiatives in the intention of promoting self-regulations. It is good to note that the Green Award is open to all Kenyans through community groups, academic institutions, all in form of corporate citizenship. Through this award, the participants will be given a platform to showcase their exemplary initiative and be granted an opportunity to gain recognition. Today, as we launch this award as NETFUND Award, there is a reason why we have decided to name it that way for now. The reason being that the Constitution encourages public participation, and the interest that has been developed in this award demands that we contemplate the name, the most suitable name. We have had proposals and will inform you in due course at the appropriate time the name that we have settled on. Last but not least, it is our great pleasure, and we aim to work and partner with most of you in the future and see these awards a success. It is one of our core and key mandates. It is a NETFUND initiative. We need your support, and thank you very much for coming.
This is going to be one of the most prestigious environmental awards that I think we have in the country, and being recognized as a national award definitely will go a long way in achieving the objectives from NETFUND, who are committed into making sure that we do recognize. I don't think we do have any environmental awards currently on the national level. So definitely this is a very special and auspicious moment for us to celebrate and welcome this initiative from NETFUND together with all the other partners who are with us here this morning.
NETFUND is a creation of the EMCA, the Environment Management Coordination Act of 1999. In fact, Section 24 gives it its mandate as to facilitate research, publications, capacity building, and awards, and that's why we are here. Our vision is to ensure sufficient resources are always available to maintain a clean, healthy, and productive environment, which is actually a goal for most of our EMCA institutions. Our mission: to mobilize the resources, avail them to those who deserve them, and also to fulfill its mandate, the mandate that I've mentioned before, for research, publications, capacity building, sustainable land management, and awards. And the awards is what you're here for today. Core values of NETFUND. Number one is innovation. We will continuously look for new and better ways of delivering our mandates, the mandates that I listed earlier. We value stewardship. We will manage the resources entrusted to us in a transparent and accountable manner. And we want to be with everybody in that value. Partnerships. We value this very much. All of you are our partners, and we continue to cultivate partnerships with all others who are not yet with us here. Our strategic objectives are mainly four. Sustainable funding to promote innovative environmental initiatives. That's really core to us as a fund. Enhanced and voluntary action in environmental management. Awards are supposed to achieve this strategic objective. We'll try to enhance capacity for sustainable resource management. And lastly, contribution to policy development and implementation. All our works, and especially when it comes to research for policy and advocacy, will gear towards that strategic objective.
The background of the award, basically the reason why we thought about the award is the problems that we have currently. There's pollution, land degradation, all kinds of things that are happening, and the environmentalists here know this better than me. And it is from this background that we decided, let's have an award. Let's have something that motivates people to self-regulate, to actually mind themselves and do what is right for the environment. So what is the vision of this award? Our vision, as I explained, is about the people and regulation. So we want an environmentally responsible and motivated society embracing best practices for a clean, healthy, and productive environment. We are saying we want to be the people who first recognize our heroes, our environmental heroes. We're not going to wait for somebody else to tell us that this person has done a good job. We want people to be able to have a place where they can say, this is what I have done for the environment. And we want others to be able to see what they have done. We also want to inculcate a culture of self-regulation. This, again, as I said, is the core of this award, getting that culture of self-regulations among Kenyans. And lastly, we want to promote innovative and cost-effective environmental initiatives in the country. The areas we are concentrating on are environmental protection, natural resource management, and energy management. We've involved financiers, the media, corporates, government. We've involved everybody who's interested, the universities, the general public, everybody. In fact, our partners right now are many. We have the Kenya Scouts, we have the Kenya Secondary Heads Association, the Kenya Primary Schools Heads Association, we have Wildlife Clubs of Kenya, we have the MCA institutions, all the MCA institutions, we have WWF, we are open to partnership. We have the Kenya University Association, we have made sure anybody and everybody who is interested is there. The PGA is going to first start at county level. There are 47 counties. So the first judging is going to be from the county level, from the 47 of them. The winners of each county are going to compete at the national level, and we will select number 1 and number 2 from each segment, from primary schools, secondary schools, universities, individuals, and the CBOs. After, I think, 1 or 2 years, we'll keep adding more and more categories. The PGA launches today. The county winners will be judged or selected on the 31st of January onwards. The national winners should have been selected by 31st of March, and we'll have the gala night on Earth Day. So we are making sure nobody in Kenya is left out. We are using all the media we can use to reach all the Kenyans. So if you want to go to download this, you go to www.netfund.go.ke/PGA. That is the PGA website. Thank you very much.
But you all realize that this country, we are facing several challenges. One of them being loss of biodiversity. We have lost our forests. If you want to know we don't have forests in this country, just get in there, get into the forest. Don't look at it from outside. Just get in there and see what is happening. What we have are bushes, not trees. We have bushes inside there. And so where did this biodiversity go? Some people went in there, chopped the trees, and they did not replace. And so there is loss of that biodiversity. We have poor farming methods. Look at our rivers when it rains. They are gray in color. They have the color of our soil. And fine, we say it has rained a lot, but does it mean when it rains you must have the color of your water must change? If you go to other countries, it is not like that. Coming closer home, the issue of waste management is a big problem. And even here in Nairobi, you live here and you know that we don't have proper waste management. But you may ask yourself, where does the responsibility start? I have the Director of Environment here. Already we have prosecuted them. But that aside, is it his responsibility to manage waste? Management of waste starts from our homes. Do you separate your waste at home? Or how do you provide it to the next carrier? And so this is a challenge. You see, sustainable development starts with us. Now, where will sustainable development emanate from? For us to get sustainable development, we have to think of our heads. The head of the person seated next to you. God has given us very unique ability to think and to make meanings and to interpret things in a different way. And so the innovations that we are talking about, the solutions, can only come from amongst ourselves. And so we need to, this award system helps us to go out there, identify the innovation, appreciate it, and have it recognized, and finally awarded. So the position of NEMA in this whole process is that we recognize the effort done by NET. Actually in EMCA, the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, the word award is only mentioned in the provisions of NETFUND. And so we recognize the effort they have made to initiate and think about this award. However, since the scope of the award of the environment is so great, environment is enormous. Environment is about war, it's about peace, it's about crops, it's about air, about land, about water, about urbanization. The words are so many that talk about the environment. We would request that all companies, all institutions that we have in this country, if you could identify yourself with an aspect of the environment and initiate your own award scheme, or partner with NETFUND because they have the expertise in terms of running the award. So let us have companies initiating these innovations at the grassroots level, so that if your mandate is biased towards economic issues, entrepreneurship, why can't you have an award on environmental entrepreneurship? And so I thank NETFUND for this initiative, and I encourage them to continue because they are making a great contribution to realization of Article 42 of our Constitution, and that is very commendable. Maybe from NEMA we will think whether we need to award you something through our our award scheme. Thank you very much.
So when we are launching an award that goes back to the grassroots, we've just got the right person. We have spent, I was delighted when Catherine, the CEO, looked at the prevailing awards now, that by and large go to the fat cats in this country. We are having an award that is going down to the grassroots, and if I may use that word, to the thin fats, to at least become fat cats as well. Today is not a day to look at who can we lock up, who can we say you cannot do this thing. In this country, we are more focused on what we must stop being done than what ought to be done. Hii ni makosa ulifanya, hii haitakani kufanya hapa. Rather than telling Kenyans, you can do this, you can change this.
As you all know, I'm sure, there has in recent years been considerable talk on impacts of climate change. Everybody talks about climate change. The media covers climate change. There are meetings literally every week, if not every day, talking about climate change and its effects on the world's biodiversity in particular. The level of profile given to this subject is accelerated more by the visible and tragic evidence to which we all react very emotionally, and that's a natural reaction, especially because it concerns human beings. The world has declared the period 2011 to 2020 as the decade of biodiversity and has laid down clear targets for your information and indicators to now just maintain the status of biodiversity in the world and in every country. Here's a sample of the text that is now adopted by every country. To at least halve nusu, to at least halve where feasible, or bring close to zero the rate of loss of natural habitats and biodiversity, including forests. Just think for a moment, that's where we are. We are talking about simply halving the loss of biodiversity as a possible achievement, let alone complete reduction or complete halt of loss of biodiversity. That's where we are today. We have to save what we have left, and the time for action is now, really, and not later. Despite our challenges, Kenya is an example to the rest of the world in looking after our biodiversity, just comparing with most other countries in the world. But we also face our own threats, both external as well as internal. Politicizing conservation efforts in the country, in my opinion, is one very serious threat that we face today. And this must be stopped. There is simply no room for politics when it comes to conservation. But we are all here today to share in one of those more positive works that is being done by individuals and organizations, which can make a great difference in its own special way, in one country and one people. The National Green Award is indeed an exciting and refreshing initiative for Kenya. It is an initiative that we should all be very proud of and to support, to keep it sustained for a very long time, many years to come. Kenya may well be pioneering this path, and I say this with some knowledge, and it has a good chance of actually being replicated in other countries where donors as well as governments are looking of ways to encourage, to insensitize their own people to conserve. However, on top of my own list is the fact that I can now finally flaunt this initiative as one great example of what my own country is doing to combat degradation of our environment and to recognize the people right down to the grassroots where there is a need for this recognition. Finally, let me ask you all, as you leave this function and a wonderful breakfast, to rise even higher in your commitment to the country's environmental challenges for the sake of our children, if not ourselves. Thank you very much.
I'd like to say that Dr. Ali is actually the one who has held NETFUND until to this point, because if it wasn't for his persistence and his belief, I think NETFUND would have folded.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Green Award of Fiction. Give him. Mr Ali Kaka, please place your hand on that screen where I have my face. There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Green Award of Fiction. This day, a lot of applause please for NETFUND and the team. That is the logo that celebrates the launch of the Green Awards. Applause please for NETFUND and the team. That is the logo that celebrates the launch of the Green Awards. As you have to yourself, will be going on until next year. This is just the beginning. You can sit now. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
He will